I'm Mr. Gen X, or Heartbreak Ridge.
Heartbreak Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge.
And I'm standing on a corner again here in Mesa, Arizona, because these are the top 5 reasons not to move to Mesa, Arizona. So, if we see here in the back, number 1, and these are now in no particular order, gas prices. Generally, just the whole cost of living is insane out here. Wasn't always that way, but I'm going to talk about 2 in particular, and the first one's going to be gas. So if you can see, $4.69 and diesel just dropped to $3.99 a gallon. So we are about $1 more than the national average. And they used to blame higher than national average gas prices here on the Maricopa County blend. But here we can see we are significantly more than the national average. So it was $5.50 something or $5.59 a gallon a few times last year. And we actually are looking, they have jacked the prices up so bad here in Mesa. It's so high that for the first time ever, and I've lived out here since 1993. I've been driving since the late 80s. I have never seen, except for this one time this year, the prices went down around Memorial Day, and they've actually dropped down about 30-40 cents valley-wide. So you're going to spend a lot of money on gas, and so that's reason number 1 not to move to Mesa, Arizona, and really don't move valley-wide. I mean, this applies to every place in the valley. So I'm standing on another corner here in Mesa, Arizona for the second top reason not to move to Mesa, Arizona, or anywhere in the valley for that matter. So I'm right here. It's a massive building, and it has to do with the housing prices, because if you think gas is expensive, my gosh, the housing industry is out of control here. The whole building, I've lived here since 1993, I've never seen building at the pace that I see now. It's insane. So across the street behind me you can see some of those not only are the houses cookie cutter and built horrifically because they're going up so fast, but the whole landscape of the valley is changing because of these prefab put up in an afternoon warehouses. So they're all over the valley. You go to places that there was nothing there just a few years ago. Buckeye, Arizona, you've got miles and miles and miles of more of those ugly warehouses going up all over the valley. So when I first moved back in 2016, the housing prices were averaging about $115 a square foot. That's when I bought. In fact, for the whole year of 2016, it went from about $90 a square foot to $115 in October. And it's only gotten worse. So the houses in Eastmark, for example, see, I try to get that in the back. Yeah, they say there's 100 floor plans, but all these houses look alike. And they're not cheap. They brag that they're starting at $380,000, but that's like 1,400 square feet. And they're going up so fast and built so poorly that you would be well advised, whether it's Eastmark here in Mesa or it's on the other side of the valley. These houses are going up so fast, and the building is so horrific. I mean, you can't even walk. Here's some video. You can't even walk to the front door without finding bad workmanship. And if they can't even get the front door right, my gosh, what are they screwing up inside the house? Well, I know for my own self, the plumbing in my house is absolutely horrific. So here's a picture, so here's some video showing me what's under my sink and what broke recently, and now I have to have cabinets and whatnot replaced. The pipe is coming at a damn angle. So we're still looking at some of the highest prices in the country. The average here in Eastmark, with these terribly built houses, absolutely awful. Well, they're all built probably pretty bad, but the average price in that neighborhood is $550,000. There's some $1 million houses in there. And again, look at the video. This is the kind of workmanship going into it. It is horrific. So the cost of living between housing, rent, my gosh, rent. Not only did the rich D-bags drive up the cost deliberately of housing, but that went, with that went the rent, of course. So you could get a 500 square foot studio apartment here in the Valley. It's going to cost you at least $1,000. At least that is double what the rent was just back in 2019. So of course, between the gas, the housing, the rent, and my gosh, the cost of food out here. No, the cost of living out here is at least as bad as Los Angeles and other areas. It's out of control. It used to be that you moved here to Phoenix from California or other places because the cost of living was less. No, the cost of living out here is significant, and you have to add to HOAs. HOAs are all over here. You have to have them. All these new builds all have to have them since the 90s. And the HOAs are expensive, and like mine goes up 20% every single year. I'll be paying $800 a quarter next year. Not pretty. So that's reason number 2. The cost of living between the gas and the housing and the food, not a good, the Valley is not a good choice for you to move to. Reason number 3 to not move to Mesa or the Valley, the fires. My gosh, the fires. Now there's always been fires, but this one's particularly bad because we got wind. So all this, for the past 10 days or so, it's right back that's the mulch fire, the famous mulch fire of 2023 here in Mesa, Arizona. And unfortunately, the wind is making it so, wow. Yeah, this definitely, I've had a sore throat all week. I actually live about 1.5 miles down the road, but with the wind, it's really not helping, but that's where it was. It's still smoldering somewhat, still a bit of smoke, and it smells awful. It smells like a campfire right now. It's a mulch fire. Let's just see there, just on the other side there, it's bad. So once it gets to be summertime, it is time for fires. And this is definitely, being so close, I'm pretty certain that there's going to be a lot of people in the neighborhood with some respiratory problems. It's reported as far north as Cave Creek that the smoke has been drifting for over a week now. So take that into consideration. Unless you enjoy respiratory problems and the constant smell of a campfire, take that as reason number 3 not to move to Mesa, Arizona, or to the Valley. See, and number 4 not to move to Mesa or the Valley is the traffic. My gosh, the traffic is insane. Now behind me is how you get to Queen Creek, which has grown at an insane pace over the last 5 to 10 years. And you take that street down there, Ellsworth. Now I know there's construction, but it's not just the construction, it's just the extreme amount of people that are moving here. And that it's 4 miles that way, south, to go from here to Queen Creek. But it's going to take you almost a half hour, and heaven help you if you leave on a Saturday morning. 4 miles will take you as long to get there as it will in Los Angeles. It's that bad going down there. And it doesn't matter what time of day, it doesn't matter really what day it is. The traffic in the Valley has always been bad, and it has gotten exponentially worse the last few years. Because of course Mesa is the largest suburban area in the United States a few years running. It's got over 500,000 people just in Mesa, Arizona. And it's been at least 8-9 years to been one of the top 5 fastest growing areas in the United States. So it doesn't matter if you go down 60, it doesn't matter if you go down 202, you go on the 101, and if you go on the 101, you want to get onto the 60, holy crap, you better add 20 minutes to whatever you're doing, because it's going to take you at least 20 minutes to get off of the 101 and get onto the 60 where you can wait again. So the traffic is only going to get worse if more people just keep moving here. So that's reason number 4 why you shouldn't move to Mesa, Arizona. The traffic is almost as bad as Los Angeles, and I would imagine in just a couple years, if the growth keeps up at this rate, we will be just as bad as Los Angeles. And the 5th reason why you should not move to Mesa, Arizona, or anywhere in the Phoenix Valley is the most obvious. My gosh, it's the heat! The heat!
And the heat! My God, the heat!
It is the desert, for heaven's sakes. And that's a big contributing reason why we have so many damn fires this time. Look behind me. All that can go up really, really easy, just like the mulch fire, which of course is that way, where I just was. Yeah, the heat, it's well over 100 degrees now. And you combine that with the dust, when you combine that with the smoke, I mean, it's why you look at the mountains behind, that's why it's so hazy out, because all the smoke from that damn fire. And that's what we get heat, it's really dry, and we get fires. I mean, if you're gonna do something outside, physical, you gotta do it in the morning, which it is much nicer, or you have to do it very late. But unlike California, where it might get about the same temperature, in Southern California, it doesn't cool down at night much here. Not until like 4:30 or so. The heat is just something. So even though we got great places to hike and whatnot, man, you got 4 months where the heat is just, I don't know what's gonna get me worse. So if there's no more videos after this upload, it's either the smoke got to me, oh my gosh, it's this heat. But it is bad. It is bad. If you've got any kind of issue with heat, don't move to the Phoenix Valley. Holy crap, it's only 105 today, but I had to get out of the heat. Again, that's a pretty good reason not to move to the valley here. But those are the top 5 reasons to not move to Mesa, Arizona, or to the Phoenix Valley. It's just too hot.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
It's too expensive, and there's way, way too much traffic.
And the heat! My God, the heat! What do you think about all that?
It's gonna be rough.